What if you could have one single button that just made your entire Go High Level work? I've trained hundreds of Go High Level sales teams. They aren't Go High Level experts and they shouldn't have to be. In this video, I'm going to show you how a single button can make your lead response faster, can reduce the amount of training that you have to do, can make it so that you don't miss any follow-ups, and improve the quality of your reports. So let's get into it. We've already talked about all the amazing things that the one button setup can do. But what is the one button setup? I like to call it the lead status. Sometimes you might have heard of it as a disposition as well, a sales disposition. I have a visual tool here to show you as part of my Go High Level best practices. It's one of the 3 functions that I have. You've got sources, the pipeline stages, and then statuses. The important thing to note is that the statuses can happen at any point in the process and can even put people back into the sales process. So this is a visual tool to hopefully help you understand that it is working in pair with the overall process that I recommend if you've seen my other videos. And I want to show you what it looks like. If I log into my demo account right here, and I just look at any single contact, I usually position my dispositions here, and you can see right here the lead status. The salespeople can click on this one button and everything will work. What's great about this is it updates the record no matter where they are in the CRM, and it does actions and it updates pipeline, which is used for recording, automatically without the salespeople having to do anything. So what are the types of lead statuses? Like, how will I actually use this? There's a couple different types. There's going to be the numbered, which are the deal stages. For example, you can see the examples here. If I wanted to move somebody over into, let's say, proposal sent. So if I just talked to someone and I sent a proposal, then I can go ahead and update that to proposal sent, right? So I can just go into here. And I can say number 4, send proposal, or have sent proposal, depending on what your setup is. Sometimes you can have this send it automatically. Sometimes you would want this to simply track that it has already been sent. You can have follow-up statuses. For example, somebody is a no-show and they need to reschedule. They simply select that option in the lead status and it automatically sets up the wheels in motion to make sure that that follow-up happens. Sometimes it can be an automated follow-up, sometimes manual, and sometimes both. So you'll have a specific workflow that will stop with a distinct process. So the no-show nurture will stop as soon as we book that person in. Then we have the closed lost. The closed lost will actually give us potentially some long-term follow-ups if we're interested in that. Not interested, went with competitor, too much price, the timeline didn't work, unresponsive, disqualified, right? All of these kinds of classifications, first off, gives us more granularity into why we are losing customers. So it's more sophisticated than just a simple loss status. And then secondly, you can automate or have certain processes that are specific to each one. A lot of the time, we have found that when somebody just says that they are not interested, it's usually not worthwhile to follow up with that person. And in fact, it can even hurt your reputation because your emails might get marked as spam. So typically, I spend less time on this section, but sometimes you can add long-term automations. You might have some kind of reactivation. You might have a downsell that you might use if they were disqualified. And then you can also have hard stops. Do not contact or do not disturb might also be something that this customer doesn't want to hear from us. So we're going to put that and we're going to lose it. This makes them exit the sales process entirely so that our sales reps are not wasting time on dead leads and they can focus on these follow-ups or on these deal stages. Here's an example of a lead status. So for example, you might have your deal stages. I have separate videos on how to set up your pipeline correctly. So you'd want to basically mirror those. Then you can have follow-up, such as follow-up on a specific date or no-show nurture in case they missed a appointment. You can have an invalid lead, a lead that should never have been there, and we're going to DND, which means do not disturb. It can be a valid lead, and we're still going to do not disturb them. We'll keep them in our CRM, but we're just going to make it so that we don't send them messages on accident. And then the lost. Someone says, I'm not interested. I went with a competitor. It was a price issue, timeline, those kinds of things. Again, there can be processes for them, and it adds a lot of sophistication to the CRM. So what do you want a lead status to do technically on the back end? There's a couple of rules to make sure that this is scalable and it actually works. You want to auto update opportunities. When they update the lead status to a certain deal stage or to lost, abandoned, it updates the opportunity automatically so that your reporting is accurate and the sales team doesn't have to go in there and update it. Otherwise, they're going to forget and you're going to be angry every month when the reporting is not accurate. It should stop all previous workflows. It should just cut it off and there should be one simple flow moving forward, which is the most recent lead status. What I like about lead statuses is the drop-down nature. It can only be one at a time. So there's no mixed messaging. If somebody is abandoned, that's different than a proposal being sent. We don't want both messages going out at the same time, or else it can cause angry customers. And so it's very important that even just by the nature of the option itself, it only lets you click on one at a time, which is actually great by design. The follow-up lead statuses, I like to have the option to put a specific date. So you can see here, I might say I'm going to do a follow-up later, and then I'm going to put a specific date, right? July 31st. Then I can save it, and that will make them reappear into one of my action lists when I need them to. If you don't know what action lists are, I have a video on it called Smart List Workflows. It's the most powerful way to set up your CRM. If you're still using opportunities, I recommend you get off of it and move over into action lists. Generally speaking, stick between 5 to 8 different statuses. People either don't have enough at the beginning and slowly add them on, which is the preferred process, or they make too many and it becomes too complicated. Stick with a few common situations and you get more fancy as you move on. And I would recommend that you put the lead status on the very top of the contact. It's the very first field I see, and you can rearrange it in the settings of the custom fields. All right, so I want to show you a quick demo. Let's say this contact is in my follow-up action list, and all of a sudden, I gave them a call, I gave them an email, and I sent them the proposal. So if I were to update them to send proposal right here, and then I hit this save button, then I just have to wait a couple of seconds, and you can see here that the opportunity automatically got updated. So the same thing happens with all the other follow-ups. Either they get put into the right action list, the opportunity gets updated, or you have some kind of nurture or manual process to make sure that they are reached out to. Here's another example. If I put a specific follow-up date, when I update that lead status in that field, it will automatically show up in my follow-up list inside my smart list. I can see the exact lead status that they are a part of, and then I'm able to work my list in an easy way. I can even filter or sort by the follow-up date very easily here, just making sure that I'm reaching out to the people who should be reached out to first, and I can do it in any order that I want. And I can even customize my action list here to be more effective. And there you go. So I hope you can see how you can literally use one button in your sales process to pretty much do everything inside of your CRM. It's so much easier to train for, and it gets so much better results because it's all organized and it all works together. If you want something similar to this process and you also want all my best practices, then feel free to reach out at Optimized Outreach, and I'll be sure to help you set up your Go High Level in the best way possible, whether it's through coaching or a done for you service. I'm happy to help in any way that I can. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.